Across the scrapyards of 20th century America, entire dynasties of steam power were cut apart and melted down, including streamlined passenger icons, heavy-hauling freight giants, and radical experimental machines, all gone before anyone thought to save them. What if even one more had survived? This countdown ranks 15 of the most painful losses in American railroad history, from locomotives crushed by economics and bad timing to legends that came within a single phone call of being rescued. Each entry climbs deeper into regret, beginning with a towering, streamlined showpiece that dazzled millions at a World's Fair, then vanished forever. In the 15th place, the Pennsylvania Railroad's colossal streamlined cruiser debuted as a monument to corporate pride. Built to lead the fleet's finest passenger trains, this multi-cylindered marvel became a public sensation at the 1939 New York World's Fair, spinning its massive wheels on rollers before admiring crowds. Yet this high-speed showpiece harbored a fatal flaw. With less than half of its immense weight resting on the driving axles, the engine suffered from severe, uncontrollable wheel slip that crippled its performance in regular service. As post-war finances plummeted, plans to preserve this Art Deco masterpiece evaporated, and the giant was cut up for scrap in 1949. In the 14th place, Norfolk and Western's ultimate heavy-hauling Articulated represents a heartbreaking tragedy of timing. In July 1959, this mountain titan powered a spectacular farewell to steam excursion, igniting massive preservation momentum. The railroad offered the colossal engine to preservationists for $50,000, but set a strict 30-day deadline. A passionate campaign emerged, securing an agreement with a sympathetic scrapyard owner to hold the giant. But mid-campaign, that vital supporter died unexpectedly. Without his advocacy, the deadline slipped away, and the effort collapsed. This near miss remains a devastating reminder of how easily history can be lost to human fragility. In the 13th place, an unmatched mechanical audacity took shape on the rails of the Erie and the Virginian. These triplex monsters were designed to conquer steep mountain grades, distributing their massive weight across 3 separate driving wheel sets powered by 6 cylinders. On paper, they promised unimaginable tractive effort. In practice, they became a tragic lesson in the laws of thermodynamics. When working under heavy loads, the hungry cylinders drained steam far faster than the boilers could produce it, starving the draft and causing violent wheel slip. Realizing that raw ambition had outpaced contemporary engineering, the railroads eventually withdrew these giants, either scrapping them or rebuilding them into conventional designs. Complexity had defeated a legend. In the 12th place, Southern Pacific's Skyline-Cased articulated giants fused regional identity with heavy-haul power. Roaming the rugged Southwest, these massive freights were instantly recognized by their sleek, continuous boiler shrouding, which diverted smoke away from the cab while presenting an imposing silhouette against the desert horizon. To reduce fuel handling costs, the railroad converted these titans from coal to oil firing in the late 1940s, extending their reach. Yet this striking visual makeover could not shield them from rapid change. Between 1953 and 1956, accelerating dieselization claimed the entire fleet, sending every single one of these regional icons to the scrap heap. In the 11th place, the dual fleets of 10 coupled giants built for the Chesapeake and Ohio and the Pennsylvania Railroad stand as monuments to unadorned muscle. Free of passenger glamour, these massive freight haulers were forged for the grueling task of moving heavy coal and ore across rugged mountain passes. During peak demand, they easily dragged gargantuan trains of over 160 cars. Yet as dieselization offered cheaper operating costs, their immense tractive effort could not guarantee their survival. By the late 1950s, both fleets were systematically dismantled, proving that not even the most indispensable workhorses of the rails were spared. In the 10th place, New Haven's streamlined express passenger stars brought unmatched elegance to the busy shoreline route of southern New England. These striking silver-shrouded speedsters pulled legendary passenger runs like the Merchants Limited and the Yankee Clipper, hurtling across the massive Hellgate Bridge as the true crown jewels of the region. They represented a beautiful marriage of speed and aesthetic refinement, captured forever in the public memory as symbols of coastal sophistication. Yet their glorious reign was tragically short-lived. By 1951, the entire fleet was retired and systematically dismantled at the Cedar Hill Yard, completely erasing a memorable railroad image and leaving only a quiet sorrow where pure, roaring mechanical elegance once ruled the rails. Number 9. The Milwaukee Road's record-chasing speed demons turned pure velocity into a legendary railroad identity. Built to conquer the competitive Chicago to Twin Cities corridor, these streamlined giants made the Hiawatha service famous across the globe. They routinely sustained average speeds of 80 miles per hour, occasionally screaming past 110 miles per hour to the astonishment of onlookers. Their public image was forged in high-speed competition, but absolute speed offered no protection against shifting economic realities. By 1953, the railroad withdrew the entire fleet in favor of diesel efficiency. Within a year, these magnificent champions of the speedways were completely dismantled, leaving only memories of their thunderous, rapid roar. 8th place. The Florida East Coast's elegant mountain passenger haulers once swept along the sunny shoreline, embodying the luxury of southern rail travel, but their story is one of economic tragedy rather than mechanical failure. When the Great Depression devastated the railroad's finances, survival forced a heartbreaking choice. The cash-strapped line began selling off these prized machines to short-line operators, scattering the proud fleet far from its sunny home. The remaining engines soldiered on until the early 1950s, when rapid dieselization swept away the last survivors. It was a quiet, systematic dismantling of a heritage fleet, driven purely by the cold calculations of balance sheets. A grand steam identity evaporated, leaving only a memory of coastal splendor. Number 7. The heavy northern-type haulers of the Western Maryland carried the solemn weight of a sudden end. Ordered in the late 1940s as the last new locomotives of their wheel arrangement built for any major American railroad, these magnificent machines represented the peak of modern steam engineering. They ruled the challenging Cumberland to Pittsburgh line, moving heavy passenger runs and fast freights through rugged mountain passes with effortless grace. Yet their triumph was tragically brief. By 1954, the rapid advance of diesel power forced the entire fleet into retirement. A desperate proposal to save one for museum display failed due to a lack of funding, and in 1957, the last survivor was scrapped, closing the door forever on an era of American steam. 6th place. The colossal Yellowstone Articulateds of the Baltimore and Ohio stood as the absolute peak of Appalachian coal hauling power. Yet their complete extinction remains a haunting tragedy of administrative oversight. In 1959, one of these magnificent titans was officially selected for museum preservation, but a disastrous clerical error by a new employee mislabeled the active file, routing the designated survivor directly to the scrap line. A passionate benefactor desperately stepped forward to buy the engine back, but passed away unexpectedly before the funds could clear. The rescue collapsed, and by 1961, the last of these legendary giants was systematically dismantled, leaving only the agonizing memory of a salvation lost to a stroke of a pen. In the 5th place, the sister railroads of the Mid-Atlantic created a vivid public image of high-style passenger service. Dressed in striking, bright carmine livery, these elegant speedsters became the visual stars of glossy advertising postcards. They cut a brilliant profile through the Pine Barrens, racing on prestigious runs like the Delaware Express and the Jersey Central Limited. They represented the absolute peak of visual flair, projecting a glamorous, high-speed identity that defined regional luxury travel. Yet this flamboyant public image could not buy them extra time. By September 1957, the fires were permanently extinguished. The entire fleet was quietly rounded up and sent directly to the Scranton Works to be systematically dismantled. Their sudden disappearance felt particularly sharp, as this highly styled, colorful passenger fleet evaporated before the infant preservation movement could coordinate a rescue. The once glamorous ambassadors of the rails were completely reduced to scrap, leaving only paper postcards to remember their brilliant passage. Number 4. The Pennsylvania Railroad's radical Sharknose duplexes represented the peak of streamlined passenger ambition. With their sharp, wind-splitting prows sculpted by legendary industrial designers, these striking titans were built to race heavy express passenger trains across the eastern plains at sustained high speeds. Yet this technically exciting concept proved operationally difficult on the active rails. The complex split-drive design suffered from chronic maintenance demands and frequent, violent wheel slip that shortened their careers. By the early 1950s, the entire original fleet was retired and systematically reduced to scrap, leaving a devastating void where a masterpiece of industrial art once ruled the main line. But this dark tragedy of historical loss has recently turned toward a remarkable note of hope. Today, dedicated preservationists are actively constructing a brand new exact recreation of this lost legend. With fabrication reported to be over 65% complete, the massive frame, custom-cast cylinders, and major parts are coming together for final assembly in Ohio. What was once lost to the cold torches of progress is rising from the ashes, preparing to bring the thundering roar of a classic duplex back to American rails. Coming to the top 3. The legendary passenger Greyhounds and heavy northern freight haulers of the New York Central once ruled the famous water-level route with absolute authority. These mechanical masterpieces defined high-speed luxury and brute strength, effortlessly maintaining grueling schedules along the scenic Hudson River. They regularly swept between Albany and Syracuse in a mere 90 minutes, representing the absolute peak of Eastern railroading. Yet their unparalleled success makes their complete annihilation all the more devastating. In 1955, corporate leadership enacted a ruthless policy to dismantle every steam locomotive on the roster, refusing to spare even a single machine for future museum display. No outside preservation groups could coordinate a rescue before the scrap torches did their work. The entire magnificent fleet was systematically cut to pieces, leaving a quiet void where an entire empire of speed and steel once reigned. Today, not a single one of these iconic giants remains. In second place, the Central of Georgia's celebrated passenger giants represented a brief, brilliant flash of Southern steam power that burned out far too quickly. Introduced in 1943 to champion prestigious runs like the Crescent Limited, these massive engines captured the hearts of local crews who took immense pride in their thunderous exhaust and effortless speed. They were rare from the very beginning, a small and highly specialized fleet designed to power regional travel. Yet, their triumph was tragically short-lived. Shifting fuel economics and rapid dieselization squeezed at these magnificent machines out of service after only 10 years of operation. By December 1953, the fires were permanently extinguished, and the entire fleet was quietly routed to the Macon shops for final dismantling. With so little time to secure a lasting public memory, their sudden destruction turned immense engineering promise into pure, unfulfilled potential. Their complete absence leaves a sharp void, proving how easily rarity and a brief tenure can consign greatness to total oblivion. And finally, in first place, a collection of radical post-war experiments represents the ultimate what-if of American steam. In the mid-20th century, as diesel locomotives threatened complete dominance, several major railroads threw their entire engineering weight into a revolutionary concept: steam turbine propulsion. These machines promised the smooth, continuous power of a jet engine on rails, bypassing the limitations of traditional pistons. But this grand ambition yielded a series of spectacular and costly heartbreaks. On the Pennsylvania Railroad, Chief Engineer William M. Morris championed a massive direct-drive turbine engine. In high-speed service, this giant roared across the plains at over 100 miles per hour. Yet, at lower speeds, the turbine became a ravenous beast, draining steam faster than the boiler could produce it. The pressure collapsed from 310 pounds to under 100 pounds, causing severe damage. An intensive 100-hour endurance test ended in a turbine housing failure, and a destructive fire permanently ended further development. After logging just over 100,000 miles, this bold machine was scrapped in 1953. Meanwhile, the Chesapeake and Ohio pursued a turbine electric design under Vice President Harold E. Baker. Built for a luxury streamliner service that was canceled before it even began, these complex passenger engines carried their coal bunkers in the front and their boilers in the rear. They proved highly unreliable in actual service. A catastrophic bearing failure caused a massive boiler rupture, resulting in $250,000 in damages, and the entire fleet was cut up for scrap by 1950. On the Union Pacific, General Electric's project lead, John B. Miller, spearheaded dual-turbine electric prototypes. Their promise dissolved during a terrifying runaway test in 1954, when a turbine overspeed caused extreme boiler overpressure and a violent explosion inside the housing, forcing the immediate cancellation of the program. The last great gamble belonged to the Norfolk and Western. Mechanical engineer Robert L. McCarty developed a colossal 4,500 horsepower turbine electric monster designed for heavy freight. But in 1957, a severe turbine oil leak ignited the firebox, causing a devastating fire that gutted the locomotive. It was retired and cut up in 1960. These vanished giants proved that marrying delicate turbine technology to the brutal realities of railroading was a tragic impossibility. Yet, even as we look back on these extinct legends with profound regret, the story of American steam finds new life beyond the scrapyard. Today, dedicated preservationists are defying history by building a brand new, exact replica of the lost Sharknose duplex, proving that what was once lost can rise again. Which of these forgotten steam legends do you wish had been saved from the torch, and do you believe building new locomotives is the true future of steam preservation? Subscribe to the channel for more untold stories of railroad history. Across these 10 lost giants, a heartbreaking pattern emerges: irreplaceable history traded for scrap value. Yet, where preservation failed, ambitious new build efforts are now resurrecting these iron legends from original blueprints. Which forgotten legend do you wish had survived, and is building them anew the future of steam? Subscribe for more railway history.